Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. I'm Wasim Anwar from Lahore, Pakistan. We are yet again back with an exciting and informative series of interviews, starting with one of the most dynamic men on Passive. You all must have seen him on webinars and events, a man who possesses ample knowledge and carry a vision of bringing change in the lives of people. He is doctor. He's from USA. We are lucky enough to get his learning and experiences. He's none other than Dr. Jones Ojongvan. We cordially welcome, sir. You are here. Sir, how are you?
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Wazim, and good afternoon from the United States, and good evening to you. I'm really blessed to be with you. I hope that you're all well and everything is fine with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I want to know, first of all, my first question is, where you from exactly? Because mostly guests live in USA and Canada, but originally from another country, like Mr. Charles Osong, Comfort, and many guests came. So, are you originally from USA or some other country?
Oh, great. Thank you for that question. Let me release that. I describe myself as a global citizen, and I am lucky in the fact that I was born in Cameroon, that is in Africa.
Yes.
I'll talk to you a bit about Cameroon. And then I actually, at the age of about 18 or 19 years, I left Cameroon and I went to the United Kingdom, to England, where I studied. And then I spent like the first half of my, or first portion of my working life in England before I got transferred by one of the companies that I worked with to the United States. So I can say that I have spent about a third of my life in 3 different countries. And the first one obviously being Cameroon, where I was born, where my family presently resides. And Cameroon, again, is one of the countries in the central part of Africa. It's one of 2 countries that are officially bilingual, French and English. And a lot of people know them because of soccer, which is one of the national sports. And they describe the country as Africa in miniature, because if you look at the geography of the country, you probably see almost every part of the African geography, from the Sahara Desert all the way to the tropical rainforests in one country, going through the savannah. It's a country of about 472,000 square kilometers and about 27 million people. As I said, it's been a country that for a very long time has enjoyed a lot of peace and stability, except unfortunately for the last 5 years, there have been some armed conflict that has left a lot of people displaced and really putting a lot of stress in the country. So I did my earlier part of my growing up there. And then when I went past high school and I was going towards the university, I was one of those lucky people that had like a scholarship to go and study in the United Kingdom. I was in Birmingham. I did engineering. I did a first degree, I did a PhD program, and I did an MBA, Masters in Business Administration, as well as a postdoctoral research program in Birmingham. England, I look at that as a country that provided me with a lot of education, more than just the academic education, because it was in England that I actually got to interact with people outside of Cameroon. I had the opportunity to live with and interact with people from, obviously, from Africa, other countries in Africa, from other countries in Europe, other countries in Asia. I actually had one of my very good friends while I was a student in Birmingham, Aston University in Birmingham. His name was Ryan. He told us that his name was Mr. Bright, and he was from Lahore. I realized that is where you're coming from. So I don't know whether the idea that he kept telling us that Ryan means bright. So that's why he made us call him Mr. Bright. And then I finished. I started working in England. I got married in England. We had kids, some of our kids in England, and the company that I was working with finally transferred me to the United States and I am based in New Jersey. That's where I've been for the last maybe almost getting to 20 years.
Great, sir. Excellent, sir. Sir, thanks for this detailed answers, and we would glad to know about Cameroon. Of course, many leaders on passive, many leaders created from Cameroon, like Charles Osong, Comfort, and many others. And of course, your wife, Dr. Patience, as well. So that's great, sir. Sir, tell me about your family if you want to know, if you want to tell about this.
Okay, yes. Talking about my family, I am starting from who I am. I'm the one out of six from my parents who are both deceased, the only boy. So I have mainly sisters. I grew up with them, and my sisters, some of them, most of them are back in Cameroon, and I am here in the United States. I'm married. You talked about my wife, Dr. Patience. We have 5 children. The oldest one, she has she's a psychologist, and she's got a master's degree in psychology, and she's doing a part-time PhD program now. Our son had his own master's in digital communication. He's working. Our middle daughter, she just luckily completed her medical school from the University of Pennsylvania, and she's doing her residency in Connecticut here in the United States. And we have a set of twin girls that are just graduated high school, and they're heading to the university this year. Apart from that very close family, I have a large extended family that is actually mainly in Cameroon. Some of them are in Europe, some of them here in America. But if I want to talk about my family, I mentioned my friend Ryan. We have lost contact, but when I was in the United Kingdom, I ended up having friends from different parts of the world that started extending my family to those areas, and have given me the opportunity to visit different countries. But when you talk about myself and my family now, I see myself as somebody who is starting to have a very big growing family, and that family includes somebody like you and all the people in OnPassive that I'm blessed to meet on a daily basis.
Oh, excellent, sir. Mashallah, very educated family you have, and beautiful kids you have. So happy to know about Ryan. I think his name is Rehan.
Okay.
Maybe some
Maybe
pronunciation.
he modernized it when we were in England
Yes,
to make it easy for us.
yes. I think Rehan name is Bright, so Rehan. So some people say according to their pronunciation Ryan or something. So so that's good, sir. And sir, you told me about your degree and education, sir. Would you like to introduce yourself in details? Where have you been working throughout these years? What is your expertise in details from Cameroon to now United States? Of course, you was in United Kingdom too. So, how was your journey before on Pacific?
So, yes, it's been an interesting and a blessed journey in the sense that when I left Cameroon after high school, I was very passionate about doing chemical engineering, and my focus was really to do biochemical engineering. The reason being that if you think about Cameroon, they produce a lot of fresh fruits and they produce a lot of food. But the problem is that just like with a lot of developing countries, you have the planting season and then the season that there is really like no food because everything is either still growing or the harvest has ended. And then during the harvest season, you have a lot of stuff that gets harvested. And because we did not have the way to preserve most of these things, most of them, especially the fresh fruits, they got damaged. So one of my inspirations or one of my aspirations was always to go and learn and then come and see how I could help preserve some of these foods that were being produced so that you can have food all year round. And so when I got to England, I got into the engineering and I learned a lot of those different aspects. Then I finished, I had the opportunity to do advanced education and do master's in business administration, which I thought was necessary for me to understand how business runs. But then when I, at the point that I was getting ready to go back to Cameroon, it was just during that time when the economy globally was really kind of tight and there were no opportunities for me. However, there was a company in the United Kingdom that were willing to employ me. And so I started working in England initially to, gain a bit more experience with the aim of still going back to go help. But, life has different ways that shapes out and your trajectory that you start may not necessarily be where you end. I started working with this company and I got really lucky because it gave me the opportunity to visit and work with people in a lot of countries. So while I was working in England with the pharmaceutical company, they had branches in Ireland. So I had the opportunity to go work in Ireland. They had branches in the Netherlands, in Germany, in France, in Singapore. So I ended up, and as also in China. So I ended up having the opportunity to go out there and actually see how people are in different areas. And it really created in me that mindset that we are all one human body. We can have religious, we can have political, we can have racial boundaries that we artificially create. But at the bottom line, we are all one creation with blood flowing in our bodies. And then when I got to they had the opportunity that the company transferred me to New Jersey in the United States. Again, I got into the area. I was working as a process engineer and a project manager, and I ended up working on a lot of projects again in Canada, in Mexico, in different parts of the United States, in Puerto Rico. And I also worked remotely with projects that were based in places like Brazil and Argentina. Again, giving me a better understanding of humanity until OnPassive found me as a blessing. And now when I think about my journey going forward, I am actually thinking about not only using those engineering aspects that I had acquired, but for the last 10 years, I had branched from engineering and started providing financial advising and became almost like a financial professional, providing financial advice to a lot of people, because I found out that most of our people they work a lot, but they do not actually understand how money works. So I have been helping to educate them to see how they can actually make best of their money. And that is something which I have sort of been doing with OnPassive. Maybe I can touch on that a bit later. But looking at what my next phase of my work journey looks like, my prayer and my hope is that I remain healthy, and OnPassive gives me the opportunity to actually go now to other areas. You hear that I mentioned a lot of countries in Europe, in Asia, and in America that I've worked, but I have not had the opportunity to work in Africa, even though I'm from Africa. So my dream now is to leverage OnPassive and go to different areas in Africa and be able to contribute towards lifting of humanity.
Great, sir. Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. Sir, we all know Dr. Patience. Your wife is another proud founder of On Passive and great speaker. Inshallah, we will see in next in any interview, Dr. Patience. So, how was your first interaction with Dr. Patience? How did you met in United Kingdom? As you told.
Yes. So when we were in the United Kingdom, um, we were all students. I went to the United Kingdom before her, and we were students. We had a Cameroonian student community.
Oh,
The reason that that community was created initially was because some of us who went maybe earlier,
oh,
when we got there, we did not have anybody who could mentor us or basically show us the way or tell us how to adjust in the new society. So we had the student union, and the student union started serving that purpose of welcoming all those new students as well as helping them network. So when she got to the United Kingdom, I was already there studying, and we actually met at one of the student union events. You know, when we have student union events, like the particular event actually took place in London. And when we were done, when we leave from our different towns and we go to London, most of the time after the event, you know, we probably all go sleep in one house or we go stay together and again socialize. And at that point, I saw her like somebody who was extremely mature, very family oriented, and there were a lot of similarities between us. And during the course of our student life and interactions, we got to know each other a lot better, and that's when we got to a point of actually getting to go back to Cameroon and meet the family and express our interest about getting married. When we got the family's blessings, then we got married.
excellent, sir. Excellent. You both look beautiful together, sir, and
Thank you.
beautiful family. And sir, my next question is, we would like to know about your journey with On Passive, including when and how did you join, how it has changed your personal and professional life, sir.
Wow. I hope we have enough time for this one.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes,
um,
sure.
sometimes you are searching for something and then you struggle to find it, and by divine intervention, the thing finds you. I did not know any idea, had no clue. I did not even know anything existed about concerning On Passive. So after, you know, in the United States, we have Thanksgiving normally like the third week in November. And in November 2020, towards the end of November 2020, I was unlucky to actually contact COVID-19. And this is the moment that when you talk about whatever my wife has done throughout, I'm just amazed as to how much knowledge and research she had done about how to take care of somebody with COVID, even during the time that everybody was learning about COVID. She would pick information from all different places and put them together. So I actually had a situation where someone came to visit us. I got exposed to that person. I had COVID, and I was isolated in one part of the house, and everybody else stayed away from me. And sometime around the 2nd of December 2020, I was lying in that my isolated corner. She stood at a distance and she told me that one of her sisters has sent her a WhatsApp about some company called On Passive, and that she looked at it and she just has this belief that this is going to be something big. And that all they were asking for was $97. And she has signed up herself. And she said, are you going to come in? And I said, what do I need to do? And she said, well, you need an email. I said, you know my email address. And I said, you go ahead, sign me up. And so Patience went ahead, signed me up on the 3rd of December 2020 in OnPassive. I didn't even ask her what it was about. All I knew was she said, it looks like something that is going to be big. I still don't know what actually gave her that initial motivation, but the irony is that the sister that had sent her the WhatsApp is somebody who just receives all these WhatsApp things and forwards them and never really bothers reading them. And sometimes when we get all these forwarded WhatsApp, you just think, oh, not another piece of, junk, and don't read it. So somehow through a divine intervention, she read that WhatsApp. Somehow it actually resonated with her. And after she had actually gone ahead and she signed me up, and I told her what password to use since I was sitting on my isolated corner. I then asked her, I said, what was this thing all about? And she said, it's $97. I said, okay, yeah, $97 is not going to kill us, but what's it about? And at that point, she said, well, they said it's an IT company that is coming up. And if we look at the IT companies, we know like Google, like Facebook, and so on. Even if this doesn't work, it's $97. So she then called the sister that has sent her. Maybe she will tell you the story herself. She called this same sister and started explaining to her that, hey, what is this that you sent to me? And she said, I don't know. I just got it and I forwarded it to you. He said, go ahead and actually sign up for it. I don't even think this lady signed up for OnPassive till much later when she kept hammering and hammering and hammering. But when I just looked at it initially, I remember I attended one webinar where Mr. Mufare was present. And when I attended that webinar, I saw that there were people from all over the world that were involved in OnPassive. And I just told myself that these people cannot be involved in OnPassive if this was not something really, really real and powerful. So I started getting involved, but at a very low level. During the first half of 2020, all I did with OnPassive was one, we agreed that the Zoom links that I used to use primarily for my business, we were going to be using it on some of the days to do OnPassive webinars. But she actually and a few of her friends, they were the ones who were like going out there and actually trying to listen to OnPassive at the corporate webinars and then come and share them to people within our communities for two reasons. One, most of the people that went to the corporate webinars were either too shy to put their hands up and ask a question. Two, some of them had a lot of data problems and could not, they kept dropping in and dropping out. And the other reason is that even some of them that had data, they were not technologically savvy. And I think you probably experienced the same thing with our brothers and sisters in Pakistan, that not a lot of us are computer or tech or IT literate. So the whole idea that they decided was that they were going to spend a lot of time and explain, or even helping people to figure out how do you even log into an email? How do you even sign up so going back to basics of teaching people how to even log in, let alone to be able to go to OnPassive. And it was not until, I'll say the middle of last year, that I decided to actually move up from my back row that I was doing supporting the Dream Team to actually getting involved in their meetings. I was always like providing logistic support in the back. But once I decided in the middle of last year to become more active, I decided that there were, in addition to just helping people log in, there were some areas that I think most of our people need to understand and get ready, because this is a massive thing coming down to us, and people need to actually get their mindsets ready. Mr. Wazim, you know that most of the time when our CEO has any presentations, Mr. Mufare spends almost the first half of the meetings talking about readiness, about how we should change our mindsets, but most of us do not get it. So one of the things that at my own little level, I have sort of been trying to contribute is really helping the people within our communities. And there are actually 3 different groups of webinars that work together. There's the Dream Team, there's the Deep Dive team, as well as the OnPassive Niger team. We coordinate and work together. But one of the things that, with my financial literacy background, I have been working on helping people to understand is to get that financial readiness, because we know that a lot of people have won millions in lottery, and in a very short time, those people have either died or they've gone broke because they never really prepared. What we have been struggling to do is to prepare the people, because we know that when the apples or the money or the greens, whatever people call it, they start coming, we don't want people not to be able to use it to actually improve themselves and improve their community. So one of the things that has been a blessing to me, and I hope I have been helping bless other people, is to really focus on this idea of getting our mindsets, especially our financial mindsets, ready. I hope I didn't take too long. I want you.
No, sir. I was listening very. I could not notice the time. Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. Sir, excellent journey you have on passive. Sir, actually, this is my favorite question. Every guest has own story to join on passive. So it is amazing. Sir, how do you see on passive after launch? How is it going to impact the lives of founder, customers, and businesses all around the world?
Wow. After launch, as long as everybody that is in OnPassive has done their own little bit to even acquire or understand just 10% of the mindset of our tremendous leader, Mr. Ash Mufare, this opportunity is going to change the world in a way that we can never think about it. Why I'm saying this is, if you look at, we are 1.448 million of us now in OnPassive. After launch, this is the first company that has the potential of changing the lives of this many people after launch. This is the only company, not even thinking about the unicorn status, that is out there actually thinking about the others more than it is thinking about itself. And our CEO has mentioned that over and over and over. So how do I see OnPassive changing the lives of all the founders here? It's going to change our lives in different levels. The first level is us, the founders. Each and every one of us, whether we are full-time workers or we are full-time business people, as long as we have caught the OnPassive dream and we can just dream about what this real opportunity is, it is going to change our lives financially. It's going to change our relationships, drastically because me and you did not know each other until before on Passive. There are 1 million of us that we have become a family and millions will come. When Ash made a statement once that OnPassive has the potential to stop wars, it did not resonate with me initially. But once I begin to understand you as a brother, once each and every one of us begins to understand each other as a brother and sister, then we start to see things from the other person's point of view, and the little nonsense that creates conflicts, we can actually start taking them down. At a family or community level, OnPassive is going to change our lives because through OnPassive, we are going to not only be able to increase our own ways of living, we will also be able to uplift our individual families. I can throw a couple of examples here. I see that between my wife and myself, during the last 20 or 30 years, we have spent a lot of time supporting our family members, helping them with education or helping them financially, because we had what we perceive as our limited means. With OnPassive, it gives us that option to be able to stretch it further and start focusing outside our family. It has actually started changing our mindsets, because I did mention to you earlier that in Cameroon, we have an armed conflict that has resulted in people being displaced. Last year, my wife had to actually take about 28 or 30 kids that are at school age. And we had to sort of sponsor them through primary school and even support them with books, uniforms, their fees, and so on, out of pocket. There are people, some of those children have the potential to become the president, so senators, so businessmen, but they don't have those means now. With the opportunity that OnPassive is providing to us, I see endless possibilities for those kids. We're not only thinking about helping them through primary or elementary school, but support each of those children as far as they can go. And then when it comes to the bigger communities, there are projects that I don't even know whether I would have even been able to think about them were it not for this opportunity that OnPassive has granted to us. So I see that as long as we have that mindset, the mindset that our CEO said, and one statement that he made during a seminar sometimes in 2020 that just keeps replaying in my head is when he said that if Mother Teresa had the resources, what would she have been able to do? So when you ask me the question, what do I see OnPassive doing? I want each and every one of us to develop that Mother Teresa mindset or that Mother Teresa type of thinking. And then we are blessed with Mr. Ash Mufare providing us with the means. And then it is up to us now to take it to wherever we want to take it.
Excellent, sir. Sir, you explained very well, sir. And sir, you talk about Mr. Ash. Mr. Ash, our CEO, the genius, the mastermind of this project. Mr. Ash talk about mindset, talk about value. So, what is your opinion about him? We all know we have a good opinion, but I want to know from you.
You know, from the very first webinar that I attended, and I saw him. First of all, I saw him as somebody who is genuine and who really cares for humanity. After that first meeting, the thing that kept going through my mind is, why is he doing this? Because there are lots of friends that we have invited into OnPassive, and a few of them have told us that, oh, if this guy actually thinks he has a good product, he can go get a venture capitalist and they will fund this project and he'll be successful. Mr. Mufere has told us over and over that it is not the money he is after. When I think about it and I keep asking, what actually, other than some sort of God-given, divine, or whatever you call it, inspiration had descended on him to allow him to take on this opportunity or to take on this project, I sit there and I ask myself, could I actually do something like this? Put the money aside. Could I actually go through, because I mean, I think the last webinar, Mr. Mufare told us about how much pain he has had to go through in order to move us there. It would have been very easy for Mr. Mufare to just set up his small business or even go out there, get loans from some banks or get some venture capitalists to pump in money, and he generates OnPassive and becomes one of the billionaires that are in this world. But he chose to share his wealth. He chose to share this opportunity with people like us who absolutely do not deserve it in any way. When I say absolutely do not deserve it, is because I don't think that I have the qualifications to actually be a part owner or a founder in a unicorn IT company, plus more products to come. So when I look at Mr. Mufare, and my opinion of him is just that he is a God-sent disciple to come and help humanity, and all that we can do to support him, because we cannot support him financially, we've not been able to pay for any of the costs, is to really just pray for him, to support him by picking pieces of this vision and running with them. Because if we do that, then together we are going to help really achieve that dream of lifting humanity. But as an individual, I have worked in corporate America for about 20 plus years. And I can tell you that I actually went to executive levels, but I will also tell you that I never, ever actually had a sit down with the CEO where he would just be talking to everybody as a brother, as a sister, as a colleague. It takes a unique individual to be able to do that. Most corporate CEOs, if you are lucky, you will see them at some corporate Zoom or corporate briefing where they're talking just to the guys who are up there. And that's why I said those of us who are in OnPassive, we have the opportunity that we have a CEO of the soon to be largest company in the world that is willing to come take his time, sit down and tell everybody, my name is Ash Mufare, I'm your friend, and saying it genuinely, and you feel that friendship because of the way he talks to us. So that is, I see him as a friend. I see him as a brother. We've not met, but that is really the opinion that every single day I keep reinforcing about our CEO.
True saying, sir. Excellent, sir. Uh, this is the first CEO I have ever seen. I have ever seen who talk about mutual benefit and humanity instead of business, like other business CEO. So he proved himself uh, when he started this company in $97 the foundership price, and increased the product but never increased the price of $97, because he want to give the uh, uh, relaxation to founders. He don't want to put the burden of founders, because He know the mostly people are poor, they can't afford. And recently he announced the package, future package the founder will pay, and he also relieved the in these packages, because once he told in webinar, he always think how can I relieve the founder recording package. So he did it, and that's great. And recently he gave the many ideas to Yemen deserving founders.
Mm.
So that's great. Oh, and normally if you join any company and company add anything, the company demand money, because you are stuck in company, you forced to pay the that money, but he didn't ask an additional money, and besides the $97. This thing great, sir. So, sir, we have heard many products, many digital products of on passive. So, what is your favorite product and why you like it? I know this question is very difficult. Every product is has its own importance. It's like a company. So, what is your first priority product?
Oh boy, I'm sorry. I am going to disappoint you by not by saying that I do not have a favorite product, but I have like three products that are so close and dear to me in my heart. And sorry that I'm going to talk about the three. The first one is Ocademy, and why I am in love with Ocademy is when I started telling you about my story. I told you that after high school, I had the opportunity to be given a scholarship to go and study in England. I was not the only quote unquote smart kid that wrote the exams that led to that scholarship. There were a lot of other students that could not go, and the government had to just send about 10 or 20 of us because that's all they could afford. Think of what Ocademy is going to do. If we had Ocademy at that point, would it have been necessary to select only 10 of us to go and study, or would it have been possible to provide that opportunity for everyone who has the means? I am just thinking here that there were lots of much smarter guys that probably would have achieved a lot more than some of us who did not have that opportunity. And I see this one product as leveling the playing field, not only within some of us, the less developed countries, but even amongst the developed countries. And then I liked the O Connect product. Again, thanks to Zoom, we are able to have this conference. But if you actually look at what is coming out with O Connect, I just cannot wait. I'm like, the day that they say it's out here, I don't know whether I'm going to be singing or whatever, because forget about the cost of paying for Zoom. Just looking at the features that we have for this O Connect, they sort of excite me. Oh boy, I cannot even, I just have to contain my excitement. But if you were really to push me and say, what is the one product that OnPassive is bringing that really is my favorite, I would say it's Obless. Why is it Obless? Because I am a living example of blessings that I have received that maybe I don't think I necessarily deserve. Obless is OnPassive as far as I'm concerned. Apart from Obless, OnPassive becomes more like another big business, but not in the technical sense of the word, but this is the heart of OnPassive. If we take out Obless, then the idea of lifting up humanity starts not to become really real. It is, to me, the key differentiator that places OnPassive on its own lane and every other company in the world in a separate lane. Why am I saying this? And I'm going to touch and see why I feel so, because I think once we, the Unpersevians, have initially, as Mr. Ash Mufare said, filled our tanks, the day that we leave this world, we're not going to carry any money with us. In fact, you don't even have control over your body when you're gone. Some other person is in charge. So the only thing that we can do is utilize a vehicle as Obless to actually transform the world. And this is a genius of a product. That's why it is my most favorite.
Great, sir. Great, sir. So you talk about O plus. No doubt, O plus is everyone first priority, and great product. It's not as we all know. Is Mr. Ash Mufare told in one webinar. It's not only charity platform like others. It is just, it will some different. So I want to know from you how O plus will impact on humanity. So can you explain this?
Right. Thank you for that. First and foremost, 1.448 million of us are going to be impacted directly. And if each and every one of us uses the platform of Obless to only impact one person, just one person, that becomes almost 3 million people. And there are not 3 million people in the United States. There are not 3 million people in Europe. There are not only 3 million people in Pakistan or in Cameroon, but there are 3 million people that are going to be impacted globally. There is something that they call the multiplier effect, which basically says if you take like $1 today and I go buy something with it, I end up having $1, and the person that I bought the thing for has $1. And if that person takes his dollar spends to buy another thing, at the end of the day, I have $1 worth of something. You have $1. That other person has $1. That dollar is gone 3 times. If we do nothing else but just help one person, and that person is blessed to be able to help another person, and then it becomes a snowball effect, and then we would change humanity. However, I see that apart from this being the vision of our CEO, to bless and uplift humanity, each and every one of us will have the opportunity through Obless, as I indicated earlier, to bless our communities and to bless our families, and why not our countries and the world. Let me tell you some reasons why personally I see Obless and why I put it in as a first choice. My elder sister back in Cameroon, along with 4 or 5 other women, they decided about 10 or 15 years ago, when the HIV/AIDS was affecting a lot of people. There were lots of widows that were left without husbands, and a lot of children that were left orphans because their parents died from HIV. These women are all retired women, and what they decided to do was that, what if we collect part of our pension and help to empower these widows and also support the orphans? For 20 years, these women would go and buy exercise books for the kids. They would go and they would actually commit to employing some of these widows to even come clean their houses for 1 or 2 a week, so that these women had the dignity of earning an income. And when I saw this, and she was sending her flyer and saying we should help raise money, here in America and so on, I am not very good at raising funds. So what we tend to do is occasionally send them something to help them. Can you imagine how, using Obless, we could actually empower not only this team, but we can empower the widows and the orphans to once more feel that they are human beings. That one is a personal one to me. Then I did mention to you about the 30 kids that we are sponsoring in elementary school. One of the things that between my wife and I, when she started the whole thing, I didn't say it out, but I kept thinking at elementary school, you know, if you spend $5,000 or $10,000, it can probably cover 10, 20 kids. But if 2 or 3 of those children go to secondary school, the cost will go up a huge lot. If all 20 of them graduate to go to secondary school, we financially will not be able to sustain them. So when I said OnPassive came like a blessing to me, and I start seeing the opportunities that the impacts that something like OBless can get to help them, it becomes more and more impactful and very personal. I'll tell you a third one. Maybe she'll talk about it herself, but my wife just returned from Nigeria with another founder member where they went for a medical outreach to meet with refugees and provide healthcare for them. At the same time, we're talking about creating capacity building, helping them to be able to fend for themselves rather than wait for handouts every time, because the corruptness of all the aid programs now is that we would collect the aid and just throw it over the fence, and then the people will use it, and tomorrow they will need some more aid. What if we can create some sustainable things, like create farms for them, create, they're trying to buy sewing machines for them so they can sew clothes and sell and generate money and improve their lifestyle. Those are some of the things that we see OBless helping to achieve. And if I even go back to being personal, in March this year, I visited Cameroon. And when I went there, I experienced the impact of global warming and the change of climate firsthand. There were rivers that I couldn't actually wade through because the rivers were flowing so high, so fast that nobody ventured to go through because they would drown. These rivers had dried down to the riverbed. When we were young, we used to go about half a kilometer to 1 kilometer to go carry water. Now people are traveling 5, 6, 7 kilometers to get drinking water because the rivers have all dried. People have cut all trees and used them for firewood, and so every place now is deforested. And you get the fact that because people who cannot go very far are now drinking water from little puddles, we have typhoid and cholera now have become very endemic. Can you see now, Mr. Wazim, what will happen if we are able to provide just good drinking water to people, how that is going to change their lives? If we are able to provide water for people to be able to create, to do some irrigation and produce some for themselves, how that's going to change life. Our CEO told us to think big and to dream big. These are some of my own little dreams that sometimes I sit down and I dream about them. And if each and every one of us has these dreams and we have a vehicle like OBless through OnPassive, just imagine what we can do to the world in the next decade or two.
Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. Very detailed and informative answers from your side, and you have a good heart like other OnPassivians, sir. So,
thank you.
Sir, my next question is, we have seen the massive marketing campaign ran in Dubai and Burj Khalifa. What do you think about the impact it has left overall the standing of OnPassive? And did you feel any kind of change in terms of people coming and asking about the company?
First of all, the marketing campaigns in Dubai actually started by having a big impact on me. Actually seeing, it's like sometimes if you are building a house and you are inside a house fixing different sides of the wall, you do not see the beauty of your house until you actually stand a far distance and look at what has been done. When I saw those projections on the Burj Khalifa and the ice ring and so on, I had goosebumps because I was just sitting there like, oh my God, I am part of this. So it started with me before thinking about, oh, by the way, there are other people watching it. And where I have had not a lot of people, but I had one person that I talked to about OnPassive. And the person told me that I don't know whether it was a video that they saw or because they did not go through, they traveled through Dubai, but somebody told them about some company that is advertising in Dubai and was trying to remember the name. I said, it's OnPassive. I said, it's the company I've been telling you about. They said, oh, wow. So they started producing and you guys making money yet? And I said, oh, if you just don't know what we have gained from being there. So taking it back, the marketing campaigns, I see that this is really where the genius of our CEO comes in. I know I'm kind of diverting, but when you ask about those marketing campaigns, OnPassive is going to be producing and selling digital products within an ecosystem that are going to be subscription as a service-based product. So if you think about it, Mr. Wasim, you are sitting there and you want to use a software, and I come along and I say, I want you to subscribe and be using this software and be paying me a monthly subscription. Obviously, a lot of people are going to say, where does that software come from? If I turn around and say, oh, it's produced by Microsoft or Apple or Google, people are going to say, okay, maybe, yeah. But if somebody did not, first of all, know about OnPassive, what they're going to do is, maybe I'll try it, and they'll not think about it. So what I see our CEO has done is he's trying, through those marketing campaigns, they're building that brand image in everybody's mind. I remember Mr. Mufare saying one time during his webinar that the only person, once who go through the marketing campaigns, the only person that will not know or hear about OnPassive is somebody who is living under a rock. So right now, the whole world now is seeing this OnPassive. They're seeing this OnPassive, and they're saying, okay, this company is going to change the internet and so on. It's not really resonating with them. Some of them are seeing it, but once we go live and people start seeing some of those products and testing them, and they see the tremendous the disruptive technology, the AI that is driving it, the above market value capability of those products, and then they link them back to OnPassive, the company that they have been seeing but not really experiencing. You see what that combination of those two things is going to do. When I look at it and I said, wow, we in OnPassive are blessed, and we have a genius of a CEO who is doing the marketing campaign. And it's not only those ones in Dubai, but the others that he's promised us are coming, as well as some of those meet and greets that have been happening either in the UK or in Germany or in different parts of the world. Those are beginning to sensitize people. And I'm sure that a few people who have seen OnPassive more than once, they're just waiting. And the day that they see something come out bearing the OnPassive name, they'll be curious to find out. And that's what makes me think is the reason why our CEO tells us that we will be the haunted.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. You explained very well, sir. Very detailed answer and I'm getting knowledge as well. And sir, last question. As we all know, on passive foundership has been closed forever. So, what do you see coming month in coming phase in on passive?
Well, the OnPassive founder, as we rarely say, is closed and is closed forever. It's kind of funny because there were some people that I spoke to that were kind of disappointed in OnPassive. I mean, again, because they don't know what they don't know. They were disappointed because some of them heard about OnPassive and they thought this thing should have been launched because they don't know what the products are. They've not been engaged. But and that gave us the opportunity for many of us who would have missed the boat to know about OnPassive. Now, the OnPassive foundership position has ended. We, the lucky 1.448 million people, we have a mission now. Again, we come in and they tell us that you don't have to do anything. OnPassive will do 100% for you. Yes, that's true. But if any of us has a dream that is bigger than this, then they will not just sit and wait for OnPassive to do it for us. Two reasons. One, there are some of us who want to be able to achieve our dreams faster and sooner. And the second reason is that there are some of us who still have people that we want to bless with the opportunity out there. And there are the best way to bless somebody with that opportunity will be to invite them in as a reseller. Because if you think of all the IT products that we use today, not a single one of them do we actually get a financial benefit from being involved. OnPassive is giving us the opportunity to be able to bless other people by making them resellers where they'll have their own website. AI will drive traffic to, and those people will be able to get a commission from from those products, as well as also have the opportunity to use those products. So now that foundership position is finished, let's not all fold our arms. Let's do three things. First thing, let's spend every free time that we have to learn about our business. This is very important because many of us have joined OnPassive just like you go buy the stock of Apple or Amazon or Google or something and just expect that you get some dividends. I want us to change our mindsets because this, as our CEO and all the other leaders in OnPassive have told us over and over and over, this is our own independent business. You have the opportunity to be able to brand your web portal, give it your own business name that you choose, or you accept the one that OnPassive is going to suggest to you. So if this is your business, and I remember we had a webinar and Mr. Michael Williams came to it and he made a statement. He said, if somebody gave you a check for $1 million, are you just going to leave it lying somewhere? Or you're going to watch over it, you're going to make sure it goes into the right bank account and all that stuff? We have been given $1 million business, multi-million dollars, because generations to come will still benefit. So it is your business. So the first thing we need to do is know your business. Spend time in your back office to see what is going on. Go to your website and read about the products, because the more we understand what our products are able to do, the more we'll be able to share it with others and bless them. The second thing I would say that we need to do is, I think I've talked about this about 3 times, to get our mindsets ready. We are going to be faced with what, again, I think it was Michael Williams said it, with a financial tsunami. And I will hate to see any person within OnPassive fare like the 90% of people who win the lottery, because 90% of the people that win the lottery, they become either broke in a couple of months. Some of them even kill themselves because they were not ready. So we need to not only change our mindsets from an employee to business owner, but we also need to understand how money works and what are the things that we will be able to do with that money so that we can, one, achieve our dreams and help our CEO achieve the dreams that he has set up by inviting us to take part in. The last thing that I will say that we do is really to be super, 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 super patient and just enjoy the process. If we look at what has happened between 2020, when OnPassive, we had a couple of products that were playing around in our back offices. And now, when we actually have these marketing campaigns going out into the world, then that must give us some confidence that things are going right. We have an African saying that the patient dog eats the fattest bone. Don't go rushing and being impatient, because our CEO and other leaders have told us over and over, it's a done deal. Just enjoy the process. Be part of the process. Feel the blessings every day, because this is a blessing opportunity and we are blessed to be in OnPassive. And then while you are enjoying the process, just keep thinking about all those people that you reached out to who refused to listen to you. Think about all those people that you forgot, because that is where you will start the blessing. I hope this was helpful, and I really thank you for asking this question.
Wonderful, sir. Excellent, sir. Excellent. Sir, very motivational and informative answers. And in last, sir, any message for founders, especially for Pakistani founders?
Well, we are all in it together. And the good news is that once you're in, you win. We are in it to win it. What I will tell all our brothers in Pakistan, I don't think you are any different from our brothers in any of the African countries, is that we are probably, those of us in what I'll call the third world or developing countries, we probably have the bigger mission to actually go out and uplift humanity. It means then that I normally make this as a joke to my friends. I said, you don't want to be the only rich person down in your village or in your street, because everyone else will be jealous at you, and then life will be tough for you. So let's sort of start thinking about how we're going to be a blessing to other people, because our CEO has actually given us a blessing. Let's start. We already have it. Don't say when is it coming, because as he says, it's a done deal. What I'll tell everybody is, look at it as, you are my brother, you are my sister. How can I help you with this opportunity that I have been given? Because if we go out there and we are able to take this God-given gift and also be able to bless others, we will leave the world a better place than how we found it. So this message, again, is not only for our brothers in Pakistan, but for everybody. But specifically for you, Mr. Wasim, I really want to thank you. I know you are a man on a mission. I know you have also had your own struggles, that you have people that maybe are struggling technologically. They cannot log in, they cannot even sign up. They don't have the data to be able to listen to the webinars. Something like this that you are creating that gives them the opportunity to be able to listen to other viewpoints at their own time I want to really thank you for taking this effort. This is the true unpassive spirit. You are devoting your time to help the people within your community. And I think if we get more and more people that are willing to go out and bless others, as our CEO has done, then that is our mission here. I really want to thank you for this opportunity once more.
Thank you very much, sir, for your kind word, and it was wonderful interview session with you. Inshallah, I'll see you in next and any coming webinar or interview session. So we are so in it to win it, and see you in next session. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, and be blessed.
Thank you very much.